Apple's cheapest new laptop is the base model MacBook Air for £999 or dollars, but I bought this MacBook Pro on eBay for just £17, the cheapest in working condition across the entire site. You could buy 58 of these for the price of a new MacBook Air. It's a 2008 15-inch MacBook Pro. This generation was the first to have the unibody design, meaning they went from the older PowerBook style to this one, which is actually pretty sleek for something almost 18 years old. We got quite lucky on the inside as well. This MacBook was among the earliest with a 64-bit EFI, meaning we'll be able to patch this up nicely to a more modern operating system, even if Apple has dropped it from officially receiving updates. Since this older design is so easy to get into, there are a couple of upgrades we can do as well, and I think we'll have a pretty usable machine by the end of all this. It has to be said, this is a lot of MacBook for £17. It's currently running macOS 10 El Capitan, which is the latest update Apple supported for any 2008 model. The battery's looking pretty good as well, which isn't common for laptops of this age, just 297 battery cycles. 2008 unibody MacBooks are unique in having this toolless lever mechanism for removing the battery, by the way. If you buy another one, you can have two to take with you somewhere, and you just flip this panel off when you want to change them around. Being one of the larger MacBook Pros, there's a decent screen on this one as well. It's a 15-inch glossy LED display running at 1440 by 900 pixels. Right, so first off we're going to need a storage upgrade to make everything run a lot smoother. I've cloned the original hard drive to this 128GB SSD, which should hugely improve boot times as well as helping a newer OS run a bit more smoothly. Truth be told, this is the best thing you can do for any old laptop, since almost everything you'll do on it utilizes the storage. With a new drive in place, I'm downloading a copy of the OpenCore Legacy patcher to my main computer and then moving it into this one with a USB drive. OCLP lets me choose a more up-to-date version of macOS to install onto this thing, and given the choice, I'm going to go with macOS 12 Monterey. I don't want to go for Big Sur as support is dwindling, and Sonoma and Sequoia are probably too taxing for the parts this machine is running. While the patcher does its thing, let's go over those parts actually. This 2008 MacBook Pro has a 2.4 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo on board. It's not a powerful chip by any means with just 2 cores, but it was one of the more powerful configurations when new. Hopefully it's enough to get us across the line with macOS Monterey. Graphics are handled by Nvidia's GeForce 9400M, a pretty mid-range dedicated graphics chip with 256MB of dedicated but still only DDR3 memory. I was initially a bit concerned about the GPU since the first couple of times I booted this Mac there were a load of lines down one side of the screen. This does seem to have cleared up though, as all seems to be okay at the moment. We'll see how we get on, eh? This MacBook can take up to 8GB of DDR3 RAM and is currently running 4GB. I'm not convinced an upgrade is going to be strictly necessary since I don't see this thing running any games or heavy software, but we'll see. It's worth keeping in mind that with today's prices, a RAM upgrade could almost double our initial investment of £17 UK. Also, this MacBook is in excellent condition. The original owner must have taken very good care of it, which actually brings me on to today's video sponsor, TomTok. I've been talking recently about how stickers and hard cases damage MacBooks over time, and how sleeves are really the way to go. So I was really happy to have TomTok reach out. I've got one of their Defender series sleeves here for my 13-inch MacBook in a lovely forest green, and it's clearly a well-built product that's going to keep my laptop safe for a long time coming. The corner armor design means the edges of my laptop are safe if I happen to drop the thing, as there's some really robust padding here. It's a water-resistant design too, so I'm safe from spills and a bit of rain if I'm carrying this thing out and about. TomTok make backpacks too, and I've been really impressed with this Urban X T77. It's super light and the straps are of good quality. It's got a fully opening clamshell design, which is really appealing since you can get to everything you've packed that way, and there are more pockets than I could have imagined looking at it from the outside. It's got an extra strap here too for if you're traveling and want to attach the bag to a suitcase. Smart stuff. I've been using this laptop sleeve since it arrived. It fits perfectly, looks great, and I can wholly recommend TomTok for anyone aiming to keep their laptop looking as good as this 2008 MacBook does after all these years. They've got plenty of colours on their site, so do take a look if you're in the market for a sleeve or bag. Right, it looks like we've got a perfectly working patched MacBook Pro in our hands. It always surprises me how well OCLP works. This might as well be a natively supported MacBook. Apps open quickly, and all the right drivers are in place as far as I can tell. I always do a post-install root patch just to double check things are optimized, but that could just be me. Our £17 MacBook has gone from pretty much unusable to being a machine I could take out to write a script on or watch some YouTube with. Seriously impressive. As you can see, Safari loads up quickly and video playback is just about fine. There are definitely some hitches running 1080p, so it's best to turn everything down to 720 where possible, but this isn't a terrible macOS experience. The screen's bigger than my MacBook Air, which is a bonus, and since the SSD is replaceable, I can always just upgrade my storage to something like 1 TB if I want to store films and TV shows locally, or just back up all my footage. Yep, the SSD is unfortunately capped at SATA 2 speeds because that's all the internal connection supports, and USB 2 isn't the fastest either, but as you can see, transferring data and downloading bits and bobs here and there is really not the worst in terms of speed. I signed into the App Store on this MacBook, which I initially thought wasn't the best idea, but browsing and downloading went pretty much fine. I somewhat foolishly downloaded iMovie 10 though, thinking I'd put this thing through its paces at editing. Not a great idea since it's a Core 2 Duo-powered machine. It crashed every time I tried to go into a timeline, so for whatever reason, I'm just going to say this is not going to be a good media production machine. But for £17, I'm still convinced this is a steal. In the UK, the cheapest laptop for sale I could find brand new was this 15-inch Asus Chromebook for £159. It too has a dual-core processor and a 15-inch screen, but it's got 64GB of eMMC storage, which I think is pretty abysmal. eMMC is a flash-based soldered storage type with seriously slow read and write speeds, actually not hugely better than SATA 2 if I recall correctly. 64GB is all you're getting, with soldered memory like that near impossible to upgrade. The same goes for its 4GB of RAM. DDR4 is a plus, but with such poor CPU and storage options, it won't get you far. There's also no way of upgrading it because of that soldered limitation. The Asus does have a marginally higher display resolution and some nice, more up-to-date ports, but on the other hand it runs what is essentially a mobile operating system. I know which I'd rather have. This MacBook Pro is a timeless metal design, and as far as I'm concerned, still pretty usable. It's also almost 90% cheaper than anything you can buy brand new right now. There are also a couple of weirdly useful quirks other laptops don't have. Firstly, this little indicator on the side lets you know how much charge you've got left, and it's also got MagSafe charging. My M1 MacBook Pro doesn't have that. The glowing Apple logo is always a plus in my books as well, and remember, replaceable RAM, storage and batteries give this thing a pretty invincible use life. I mean, what more could you want from a laptop nearing the 20-year mark?